An Indian man amputated his own foot in order to get into medical school. A rogue elephant has killed over 20 people in a 10-day rampage. And nuns in Sweden were found to be Russian spies. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast. I got some kinky stories for you from around the world. Pretty strange. Here we go. An Indian youth amputated his own foot trying to get into medical school. A lot of Indian youth dream of being a doctor, but one particular young man in Uttar Pradesh took on an unheard-of gambit in order to realize his dreams. He amputated his own foot to be eligible for a disability quota to get into medical school. Question, why are all the craziest Indian stories coming out of this place, Uttar Pradesh? Has anyone noticed this pattern? I certainly have, doing this podcast for several years. It seems to me Uttar Pradesh is possibly the Florida of India. Anyone can confirm this? Well, it seems to me that Uttar Pradesh man should have his own show, just like Florida man at this point. This guy's name is Suraj Bhaskar. He's 20 years old. He twice failed the medical entrance exam. It's called the NEET. This is to get admission into a government medical college. This led Suraj to take the extreme step and claim that he lost a foot in a violent attack. Well, okay, I guess he's just trying to get a leg up on the other applicants by by saying he had this disability. You know, when you're trying to get into med school, you got to put your best foot forward, it would seem. Let me keep reading the story, though, and find out if he got into medical school. Did he make the cutoff date? That's what I'd like to know. Now, according to investigators, this matter came to light after the young man's older brother, Akash, informed police that, quote, unidentified assailants allegedly assaulted Suraj, his younger brother, the previous night, leaving him completely unconscious and with a severed foot before they fled the scene. Well, this is a pretty supportive brother. You got him to lie to the authorities so you could achieve your dreams of being a doctor. So lovely, brother. He understands the situation, that it's difficult to get into medical school and expensive. You know, these things cost an arm and a leg, from what I hear. Well, nonetheless, an investigation was opened with the city circle officer named Goldie Gupta. Ooh, what a cool name. Goldie Gupta sounds like an Indian superhero or a belly dancer. During the probe, Goldie found several inconsistencies in Mr. Suraj's statement. Mr. Suraj, you recall, he's the Uttar Pradesh man. Examination of Suraj's cell phone further deepened the police's suspicion. Investigators recovered a diary as well belonging to Mr. Suraj, in which he had written, "I will become an MBBS doctor in 2026. All right, well, I mean, that can't be that out of the ordinary. An Indian man's diary saying he wishes to become a doctor. I mean, that's like very common, I'd imagine. Now, if in addition to this little, dream that's been laid out in the diary, there was an illustration, perhaps a little stick figure with the stick figure man holding a saw and cutting off his own foot, then I would say we got a link here. In addition, investigators also learned that the Uttar Pradesh man had already taken the NEET examination twice and failed each time. The police claim this is when the Uttar Pradesh man slipped into what they're calling mental stress, got a little drastic. To avail admission under the disability quota, he allegedly devised a plan to become physically disabled by amputating his own foot, staging the incident as a criminal attack. Here's a statement from the police. It says the accused tried to mislead the investigation with a fabricated story, but his claims did not stand scrutiny during sustained questioning and examination of the evidence, adding that further legal action is now underway. Oh man, what a shame. He's not going to get into medical school and he's got no foot. So I'm sure he's hopping mad at this point. He should have just kept the foot and claimed he was mentally disabled, like he's got a mental illness. Does that fly over there in Uttar Pradesh? I mean, it does over here in the U.S. You just have to say that you're anxious, sad, and stressed, and they give you a dog, and then you're allowed into all kinds of schools and buildings. Now, my article here ends by saying the Uttar Pradesh man is currently undergoing treatment at a private hospital. Yeah, he needs a lot of help. Poor guy. He's really going through it. But if you break it down, though, he really has a lot of the qualities that you probably want in a doctor. You know, he's got determination, willpower. He's willing to sacrifice. Pretty innovative. You know, and now he's even got surgery experience. I mean, when I say this, you're probably going to be a little stumped, but I say give the man a license. A rogue elephant has killed over 20 people in a rampage. They're calling this elephant, quote, a serial killer. This story is also out of India, where there's a bunch of elephants, and sometimes they get angry. This elephant has killed 22 people over 10 days in the eastern state of Jharkhand. Since approximately 5 days ago, 22 people have been killed by the animal, including an 8-month-old baby and a wildlife expert that was called in to contain the elephant. Authorities have announced some compensation for their families. Oh, that's got to be some weird paperwork to fill out. My family member was killed by an elephant. Can I get some compensation paperwork? Is there elephant insurance over there in India? This is crazy. Hey, did you get your elephant stomping settlement? No, we didn't have elephant coverage, so we got cheetah and jaguar and reptile coverage only. Really, it seems. Now, there's some terrifying footage of this angry elephant. It shows dozens of locals running for their lives as the animal runs towards them. One man is seen colliding with the elephant before being sent crashing into the ground. The majority of these attacks have taken place at night, making it extra scary, with the elephant entering small villages and just tearing through the forests. The region has been put on high alert, and residents living in the Chaibasa, sounds like a delicious tea, Chaibasa. People living in the Chaibasa district have been warned to stay away from the forests and don't go out at night. This elephant is on the loose. Well, I mean, this is why you don't borrow money from an elephant, okay? Things are gonna go south, and it's gonna turn mafiosa. Now, according to the report here, one of the victims is a 34-year-old man named Mangal who was attacked near his home while returning from work. Also in a nearby village, a 62-year-old Urdub was killed while watching over his field, according to his family. Later that same night, Vishnu, age 42, from another neighboring village, was trampled to death while sleeping, according to his son. In another incident, Kundra Bahoda and his 2 children, 6-year-old Kadema and 8-year-old Smemu, were killed by the elephant as well. Did I get those names right? Anyone keeping score? Now, the forest officials believe the elephant is a young male who is identifiable by a single tusk and has been separated from his herd and become extremely violent. Or he's got a boner. That could be, he's just very excited. It's a young male elephant with a boner. I'd imagine could go trampling through the forest. I'm not a biologist or anything, but just trying to piece things together. Maybe the elephant's upset with what the people have been up to. I mean, maybe this elephant is like, I told you no more selfies, and it just is going crazy. I mean, I don't know. Who can get into the mind of an elephant? They're very intelligent animals, though, and they never forget a face. The elephant could be vengeful in a very specific way. I covered a story a couple of years ago where a woman was killed by an elephant, and the elephant then, in vengeful spite, showed up to her funeral to knock over her coffin and try and stomp on her again. I mean, that's how smart these things are. There's usually a reason. Now, the article has a scientist in it who believes this could be that the elephant is in musth, M-U-S-T-H, musth, which is a mating phase marked by extreme hormonal surges, heightened aggression, and sexual drive. So I was kind of close with the boner explanation, my boner theory. I kind of nailed it. Where are my millions to conduct a scientific study? Now, experts say this is a very serious condition, this musth, that can last up to 20 days, in which case the elephant's testosterone can increase by 100 times. My goodness. Get him to the brothel. See, guys, aren't you glad that we're primates and we're capable of mating all year round instead of having a mating season which just drives you crazy for 20 days? Wouldn't you? I mean, just be grateful. Can you imagine what horny men would do to the planet if we had a mating season? I'm talking about human men. Like, just imagine every year, one whole month of like stupid sexual frat boy energy times 1,000. I mean, it would just be unbearable. I think people would be killed. Now, as for this elephant, Indian authorities believe it's been covering 30 kilometers a day, resulting in the deployment of more than 100 forest personnel across the region. They have made 3 attempts to tranquilize the elephant, but all have failed thus far. Well, have you tried to trap it with a giant elephant blow-up doll? I mean, come on. That's an amazing solution. I mean, someone should give me money. Now, in case you don't know, human-elephant conflict is on the rise these days in India, attributed to habitat loss, resource scarcity, and increased residential encroachment in designated elephant corridors. And it says over the last 5 years, almost 3,000 people in India have died from deadly encounters with elephants. My goodness. Sounds like a tough place to live. You got Uttar Pradesh, and you got killer elephants. This reminds me of a personal story I had when I was on safari. I came across a pygmy out there on the savannah, and he was standing by a dead elephant, and it looked pretty fresh. So I said, "Hey, what's going on? Did you kill that? Did you kill that elephant yourself?" And he said, "Yeah, with my club." And I said, "Wow, it must have been a pretty big club." And he said, "It sure is. It's about 60 of us."
You're listening to Weird AF News with Jonesy.
Holy moly! Russian nun spies were discovered to be operating in Sweden. Nuns from a total of 20 churches linked to something called the St. Elizabeth Monastery have worked for Russian intelligence and raised funds for Russian invasion forces under the guise of charitable activities, according to authorities. Well, I didn't have Russian nun spies on my bingo card this year, but here we go. I shouldn't be that surprised, given what Russia is very good at in the world. 2 things Russia's amazing at: espionage and alcoholism. Now, the Church of Sweden has released a warning to all Catholic communities, and it all concerns these nuns from the St. Elizabeth Monastery, who in Sweden were informally dubbed Z-nuns. Z-nuns? Oh, fascinating. I mean, red flags should have been raised right there. They go by Z-nuns. What nuns have nicknames like this? They sound like spies. Now, according to investigators, these Z-nuns, Sisters of St. Elizabeth, used their income to support Russian nationalism and Russia's aggression against Ukraine and maintain close ties with the GRU. Wow, church donations for the military complex in Russia. That tells you how broke the Russian military is. Nuns baking cookies to send a few buckos to Russia for the army. And if you think this is crazy, wait till you hear about all the dolphin spies they have working for them as well. The dolphins send over copious amounts of little fish for the Russian soldiers to keep up their morale, I heard. The article says the so-called donations and souvenirs sold by the nuns in the churches were in fact used to finance Russian military units. In addition, the nuns reportedly visited temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine to bolster the morale of the Russian forces. Wow, some of these nuns went to the front lines to bolster the morale of the troops. Go get 'em, boys! You know, exactly what Jesus would do. Oh, here's a photo of one of these nuns, these Z-nuns, these nunjas. I don't know what you want to call them. She's got battle gear on. She's out there. She doesn't look pleased to be out there. But, you know, you got to do the Lord's work. So the investigation discovered that these nuns openly supported the war against Ukraine, raised funds for the special military operation, including for the purchase of strike drones, Starlink equipment, and military gear, visited temporarily occupied territories, and cooperated with Russian invasion units. It sounds like these nuns were really beefy in their effort to fight Ukraine, a.k.a. their latest holy war. Here's a question. When's the Quentin Tarantino movie about these nun spies coming out? That's what I want to know. Nuns with guns coming to a theater near you. How about Nundercover? That's a good one. Nundercover. Bad habits are hard to break. Hi, my friends. How you doing? This is Jonesy. Just want to check in with you. Just make sure you're doing all right. I'm still down in Mexico City here, trying to, not have diarrhea, that sort of thing. You know how we do down here. Anyways, I want to thank everyone who's reached out to me with emails and whatnot, just seeing how I'm doing. If you want to follow some of my adventures, go to Instagram @FunnyJones. I'm going to be posting some pictures and video today of the wonderful Museum of Anthropology that I went to yesterday. Got a lot of pictures of Mayan. What are they called? Mayan artifacts. Oh yeah, artifacts. I took a picture with the what do they call that? The Mayan sun disk calendar thing. So I'm sounding really dumb right now, but I'm really not. I can read. Anyways, I'll be posting some photos and videos of that little escapade. I'm going to visit the Frida Kahlo Museum today. That should be a lot of fun. There's good stuff down here, a lot of culture, and I'm taking it in, taking in the food. Been drinking carajillos. Look those up. Those are what you want in life. They'll make you happy, I promise you. If you would like to reach out to me, my email is funnyjones@gmail.com. I'll accept any articles that you might have that you think are appropriate for the show. Also, nice words of encouragement are also accepted and encouraged. I encourage the encouragement. See what I did there? Lastly, if you want to support the podcast and your podcast host / producer, the one-man show, please go to weirdafnews.com where you can join the Patreon or you can buy me coffees. Also, have a great day.